Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's weekly forecast for the week of July 22nd to the 28th. I am Ray from Ray of Light Astrology. Let's get into it. And so on Monday, the 22nd, Sun enters Leo. We've got the Moon in Aquarius making a trine to Jupiter in Gemini, and it is also making an opposition to Venus in Leo. First of all, happy Leo season, everyone. Summer is finally progressing. The days are getting very long, and that's actually why the Sun rules a sign of Leo, is because this time of year, the days are the longest. So with that in mind, and with the Sun being about the light in our universe and in the world, how can you shine some light on the things that you love? Today could be a good day. And I worded it that way because today could be a good day. And I think a lot of the time when we think about the idea of a good day, um, we tend to put a lot of judgments on it, on the requirements for what a day has to be before it's considered good. And so, if I can be honest with you guys, I had a really, really rough weekend. We just had the full moon in Capricorn. Like, I think it was at 29 degrees of Capricorn on Sunday. Maybe it was Saturday. I don't know when it peaked, but I know it was this weekend. It was conjunct Pluto as well. And when I'm doing like forecasts and honestly, when I'm practicing astrology and divination in general, I don't look at the challenging things as much. I don't give them as much weight unless there's a good reason for it, because it can just create a lot of unnecessary anxiety. But with the full moon being conjunct Pluto, I did have a very Plutonian, Saturnian kind of weekend. One of my dogs passed away. And so it was really rough. It just happened yesterday. So we've been kind of taking some time to process it and, go over his cremation and get everything settled. And so with the summer and the days getting longer, it just reminds me of like, even when things are said and done, there's still work to be done. We still had to call the cremation place today and have all of that organized so that we can get his little ashes back. And of course, I'm uploading this a little late because I've been spending a lot of time with him this weekend and all in good timing. I'm a very big believer in the timing being right for things. And so, all of that being said, back to the question I asked earlier, how can you shine light on the things you love? I love doing this. I love astrology. I love looking at forecasts. I love community, the astrological community. It has been a really big support for me and a really big social network that I've used a lot over the past years, just being an astrologer and astrology being my primary work that I do. And and yeah, I know that I could have taken some time. I had a really good reason for, maybe not doing a weekly forecast or doing it a little bit later than today even, but I really enjoy it. And I'm choosing to have a good day. It's been difficult, but yeah, I'm choosing it. And so if you're having a rough time out there, especially after this full moon, if that was a lot, then just take today to kind of take account for the things that you love, the things that shine light in your world. I have several other dogs and they're still here, so I can still spend time with them and cherish the time that I have. So that's it for Monday the 22nd. And now we can move on to Tuesday, 23rd. So in the sky, we have the moon in Aquarius making a square to Uranus and Taurus. It is going to oppose Mercury and Leo. Then later in the morning, it's going to enter Pisces and make a square to Mars and Gemini. Oh, so this Tuesday, there's kind of some tension building, and Tuesday is Mars Day. If you didn't know, each day of the week is associated with a different planet. 7 traditional planets kind of follow suit the 7 days of the week, and Tuesday is for Mars. And so whenever we talk about Mars, there can be a little bit of tension. How can you use your natural talents to see things from a new perspective? And so this isn't about, going on some kind of journey and learning something new. This is about going inward and using the different parts of yourself to be able to see something from different perspectives, because we're all a combination of things. No one is just one thing. We're a lot of things. I'm a pet parent, but I'm also a astrologer And I'm not only an astrologer, I'm also a queer astrologer. And all of these different things, kind of combine to make me who I am. And I think if we over attach to a certain part of ourself, especially talking about Leo season and how that is about the self and the individual, and how we can shine in ways that no one else can. And when our light is shown, like the rest of the sky is, you can't see it. It's blinding. It's life-giving. It's nurturing. In different astrological practices, the sun is typically in like the Western philosophy is viewed as a masculine figure and the moon as a feminine figure. But there's a very good case to be made for a masculine moon and a feminine sun. And part of the argument for the sun being feminine is that it nurtures all life on Earth. I mean, it literally like provides us the warmth that we need to sustain life, and not just us, like the plants and the animals and everything under its rays. And so I think that's a very good, strong argument for the sun being a feminine figure. And I think there's also very strong arguments for it being a masculine figure as well. So yeah, I think with that being said, just thinking about going inwards and seeing yourself as not one thing, but multiple things, and being able to use those multiple parts of yourself to tackle problems differently than maybe one part of it would. And that's it for Tuesday. I think we can leave it there. Next up, we have Wednesday, the 24th. And so, the Wednesday on the 24th, we have the moon still in Pisces. It's going to make a square to Jupiter and Gemini, and it is also going to conjunct Saturn in Pisces. And so, there's some pressure to speak today, but it might feel like your tongue is tied. Don't be afraid to dream your way through the stress. The dark is wonderful for dreaming. And the reason I say that and kind of the meaning I get that from is Saturn is the planet of darkness. It rules over Capricorn and Aquarius. And if you look outside and spend time outside during that time of year when the sun is in those two signs, it's dark. That's the darkest time of year. It's the middle of the winter. And so Saturn has an element of darkness to it, but that doesn't always associate or have to mean something bad or negative. Like I said, the dark is wonderful for dreaming. And as long as we can distinguish these dreams from reality and, you know, elevate them to fantasies instead of confusing them with illusions, we can really get a lot further with our words and with the way that we speak about how we feel when it doesn't have to be so precise and correct. There can be some ambiguity to it. There can be some element that we can't see when we're talking about things. We don't always have to have it all understood to speak about them. And so if there's something you've been wanting to talk about, today's a good time for it. It doesn't have to be something you fully understand. I think sometimes just that act of initiating, that catalyst moment, puts things into place later. And that's Wednesday, the 24th. Next up, we have Thursday, the 25th. And so in the sky on Thursday, we've got the moon in Pisces making a sextile to Uranus in Taurus. It's going to be making a conjunction with Neptune. And then after that conjunction at 29 degrees of Pisces, the moon is going to enter Aries, make a sextile with Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius, make a trine to the sun in Leo, and then make a sextile to Mars and Gemini. And if that's not all, there's more. Mercury is going to enter Virgo on the 25th, and the sun in Leo is going to make a sextile to Mars in Gemini. Lots going on today. Today's a pretty big day with Jupiter entering Leo, especially, not Leo, staying Leo and entering Virgo. How can you put your dreams to action? The value of your fantasies are made apparent once they're materialized. And so I was just talking about, dreaming yesterday, and if there's any darkness or confusion, to lean into it a little bit, to lean into that uncertainty of you don't know what it's going to look like, you don't know how it's going to turn out, and you don't exactly know how to talk about it, but you're getting familiar with it and you're learning about it. And today it kind of continues, and those dreams and those fantasies, when they're in our head, their value can be hard to see. but once they're materialized and we speak about them and then we start following through with them and we take actions that support them being real, their value becomes so much more apparent. And a lot of it is just taking the time to dream about it and then being honest about it and taking steps towards it. I think about a lot of astrologers that I've met in the community and became friends with. And when, back when I was a baby astrologer and just getting into anything, everything, and, hadn't had any mentorship or classes or anything, it felt very isolating. And I didn't feel like I had a lot of other people in the field to kind of engage with and learn from. And it was very difficult because when you're a newbie, it feels like, I don't know, it just felt like I wanted to provide some kind of value. And it took a while before I felt confident enough to start reaching out to people and, just communicating with them and letting my presence be known. And I've it sounds kind of cheesy. I have a moon in Pisces, and so I'm pretty sure it's still in well, it enters Aries that day on Thursday, yeah. But I have it in Pisces natally, and it makes me think of I like to dream. I like to fantasize. I like to think about how my life could be different in ways that would be better. I like to fantasize about that kind of stuff. And part of that was being intentional with those fantasies and of thinking of the different astrologers that I resonated with, of different astrologers that I wanted to, kind of be like, or that I looked up to, or that their work just really spoke to me. And eventually, after just that being something that I decided I wanted to move forward with, I wanted to actually do something with, I've met some really, really cool people. I've collaborated with some really awesome people. And I mean, it used to be something that I literally would like fantasize about and like dream about. It wasn't something it just fell into my lap. It was something that I actively worked towards. And so with this kind of energy Thursday, how can you put those fantasies into action? When the moon is moving into Aries, I feel like that's where it's like, okay, how can we put our feet on the ground and start marching and like start going towards what we want to go towards and start getting what we want to get. I'm talking a little bit in the circle now, but happy Mercury in Virgo. So that's it for the 25th on Thursday. And now for Friday, the 26th, we have the moon in Aries making a conjunction to the North Node in Aries. We have the moon in Aries making a sextile to Jupiter and Gemini. And it's also going to be making a trine to Venus in Leo. And this isn't something I took notes about, but for those following Chiron, it does go direct today in Aries on the 26th. And thank God for that. My ascendant is at 18 degrees of Aries, and it has been just like retrograding and going direct, like right over my ascendant for the last several years. And I'm, oh wait, no, I read that backwards. It's going retrograde again. So it's going to hit my ascendant again. I've got some more years to go. Anyways, it stations retrograde in Aries. That's what that means. Anyways, on to my notes. So this Venus day, I talked about, a different day for the week, a different planet for each day of the week. Fridays are Venus Day. And so on Venus Day, this one is filled with luck. They say that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. What are you prepared to encounter today? And so this is what I was just talking about with these opportunities and these friendships and relationships that I've built, both personally and professionally within the field. I would consider myself very lucky to have them. And I would say that luck is not just opportunity of being in the same spaces, it is also the preparation of it. I don't remember where I heard that quote. That luck is when preparation meets opportunity. But I immediately thought of that when I looked at the transits today. It really fits in with the week of, fantasizing and dreaming and using this darkness to your advantage and then bringing it to real life, preparing for it as if it's something that could actually happen, and then recognizing the opportunities when they come so that it can actually happen. Yeah, that's it for Friday. What day are we even on? Friday. Yeah, Venus Day. That's it for Friday, the 26th. On to the 27th, Saturday. So on the 27th, the moon is going to exit Aries and enter Taurus. It's going to make a square to Pluto in Aquarius, a trine to Mercury in Virgo, and another square to the Sun in Leo. Ooh, well, my notes are a little mixed up. I normally have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then my notes, but this is like Monday, Tuesday on half the page, Tuesday on the other half the page, Wednesday, Thursday, like days are all mixed up. On Saturday, correct. Yes, the day we're talking about, the day the moon enters Taurus. Sometimes empowering yourself can bring out the vulnerability in others. And so I want you to take some time today to separate your others' feelings from your own so you can communicate really clearly. A lot of people, it's very Leo energy to empower yourself. It is very Leo energy to perform and put on display your talents and adornments. It's empowering, and that can be very empowering for other people as well. It can also kind of bring out the vulnerability in other people. If you have a sheet and there's holes in it, maybe you don't see it when it's laying on the bed, but if you put it up in front of a light, it's going to show each vulnerability in that sheet through the light. The light is going to reveal it. And so think about your empowerment as this double-edged sword of something that can strengthen yourself and strengthen others while also shining light on the vulnerabilities. And when you do this, you can kind of understand where people are coming from. And, let's say you do something really powerful for yourself, be very visible about it. And then someone comes to you and they're like, hey, this made me feel some kind of way about it. Now you don't really have to take that personally. You can know that you were shining light in their vulnerabilities and you can communicate clearly and sensitively. I think Leo's and Leo energy is very sensitive. It doesn't come across that way because it's also very bold and confident, but it's the heart. Like they're really big babies, the Leos in my life that I'm thinking of. And when they know that you're not attacking them personally and that you're coming to them with what you feel, they want to honor your light too. They don't just honor their own light and showboat around themselves. Like they love showing off other people too. They love inspiring others and encouraging them. They don't always think that their light is the only one. And so, yeah, if someone brings something to you today and it feels personal, try not to take it personally. Try to think about where they're coming from, how they're feeling, and you don't have to hold them yourself responsible for how they feel to support them and feeling that. And that's it for Saturday. After Saturday, we have Sunday the 28th. And I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a quiet day in the sky. We do have the moon in Taurus making a sextile to Saturn in Pisces. But today's a quiet day in the sky. Take the day to get some rest. I think the moon in Taurus and Saturn in Pisces are both places that can do well with rest and with long-term kind of stability. Like Taurus, every Taurus I know, they love, they're rigid. They're they're fixed. It's a fixed sign. It's the height of the spring when it is the spring. It is the season. Leo is the fixed sign of the summer. It is the summer. And it takes a lot of, resilience to sustain over a long time. And so like I think one of the biggest stereotypes about Taurus is that they love to eat. And it is one of my favorite stereotypes because it was a Taurus who introduced me to it actually. And she was like, it's true. And every Taurus I've met since then was like, it is true. We do love to eat. It's because it nourishes their body and it gives them the longevity to be consistent and to be reliable. I'm very much a mercurial kind of person. I have Sun in Virgo, and I'm a finicky eater. I eat when I'm hungry. I typically don't eat if I'm not hungry, and if I'm not aware of my body, like I'll go a long time without eating and not realize it. And so people that are just attracted to food I really like the contrast in our personalities. And I really like the lessons that there are in just being fed and, making food even when you're not hungry, just because you know you will be later. There's a lot to learn there, I think. I really like Tauruses. I think they can teach me a lot. And that's it for Sunday. That's it for this week. Feel free to check out my website. My links are down below if you'd like more information about my practice or how to book with me. And stay tuned for next week, for August. Have a little surprise for you guys. So, have a good day. Until next time.